Welcome to your MFR evening wind down. In this routine, we're going to hit two spots. We're going to go into the side of the hips here, so into the gluteus medius, any of that kind of soft tissue area just behind the ASIS, the frontal hip bone. And we're going to go into the QL. So the QL, quadratus lumborum, is you find your lower part of your hip there and your lowest, or the upper part of your hip, and your lowest rib, and it's any of that lower back area there. It's where the lumbar spine is at its deepest curve there, is where the QL is. And we're just going to go above the pelvis, either side of the spine there, so making sure the balls aren't on the spine. Okay, so we'll start with and you need a bolster as well, so two balls and a bolster. We're going to take a nice twisted restorative pose. So we're opening up these kind of side hip muscles so that you can come into a nice twist with ease. Okay, so take whichever side you want to. We're going to go into the glute med first. Okay, so identify where your pointal hip bone is there. Find that pointy hip bone and pop two balls. I suggest two. This one can be a cranky one, so one ball might be a little too intense for you. Just behind, anywhere around the side of your hip there. So it's just the kind of side body area. Okay, so find something of interest. So root around. Our routine is usually put the balls in, kind of rummage around, find something of interest, pause and breathe. Okay, pause and breathe. Okay, and then the next one would be rolling around a little bit, if that applies to the area. And then shearing. So with this one, we can bend the knee and lower it and lift it. You can see the two balls there. Or you can have it straight and lower and lift. Okay. Now this one's a great one to spend a little bit more time on, but we're going to keep going. So we're going to flip you over to the other side. So same thing, just a reminder, there's my pointy hip bone. I'm going into any of that muscular fleshy area behind it on my side body, so the side of my glutes there. And then I'm rummaging around just to find something of interest. So a little bit of a rummage. And then pausing and breathing. Good deep breaths will send signals to the nervous system to relax all the muscles. So breathe into the belly there. Okay, and then you can do a tiny little bit of rolling around, up and down, or side to side can be lovely for this one too, just rocking forward and back. And then you can try a little bit of shearing, so either with the knee bent or the knee straight, lifting and lowering. Okay, let's go into our second spot now. So just a reminder, there's the top of my hip, my pelvis there, and I'm going into any of that area. It's not very big for me, it depends on your height. Lower than my lowest floating rib, higher than my pelvis. Okay, so it's around about there for me. Let's come around this way. So come to this position just onto your forearms there, place the balls down, and then come to lying down. So for me, I kind of need to lift my pelvis up just a little bit, just depends on how this feels for you. For some people, this is not very comfortable. It can feel like a bit too much of a back bend with the balls underneath your lower back there. And also I like to have a little bit more weight into the balls. So I just see the way I'm pressing into my feet there. And I'm just lifting my hips like you could almost just about slide my hand underneath my hips there, okay? I'm not lifting them too much there. And that's pushing a little bit more weight into the balls there. Just adjust them. If they might slide out to the sides, just pop them back in again. Okay, and then for this one, again, roll around a little bit. Pause and breathe, breathing into the belly. Okay, and then you can roll a little bit up and down or do a little bit of bounce, which is where you're just kind of bouncing over the balls or rocking over the balls. And then our shearing would be just lifting and lowering one leg at a time. So lifting one leg and bringing it down, lifting the other leg, bringing it down. And you can also do things like the windscreen wiping of the legs from side to side. It's not necessarily shearing the area, but it is definitely kind of kneading into the muscles and the fascia there by, you know, taking the weight off, putting it down again, like you're kneading into dough. increasing that water, the hyaluronic acid. So a good way to get some fluid back into the tissues there. Okay, so that's our MFR done. So now we're going to come into, I'm just going to show you one side and then I'll leave you. And you can go do the other side, obviously yourself, two-sided pose. So now if you don't have a bolster, I have a great video which shows you how to make a bolster out of 2 pillows, a blanket and 2 strings or 2 ribbons. So really easy. Or you can just pile up 2 pillows or 2 cushions if you don't have the props available to you. Okay, so I brought I'm on my right side here. I've got a little bit of room between my hip and the bolster there to give me space to kind of hinge over the bolster. Place both hands either side of the bolster there. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale just to take yourself into a twist there. The way I do my feet is I've hooked my right toe around my left ankle there. I find that kind of just keeps it in space. And then you just come down through the center of your spine and keep your gaze. So I'm on my right side and I bring my gaze to the left, okay? This would be a little bit too much for the neck. Some people like it, but I prefer to keep my gaze to the opposite side that I'm on. And this is where I'm going to leave you. So just don't forget to do your second sides. Maybe give yourself 1 minute or 2 minutes in this side and then flip over to the other side. And then you're cooked for your evening wind down.